Welcome to another Kelly CloudFax training video. In today's video, we're going to cover the CloudFax portal for sending and receiving faxes. I want to pause for just a moment at the login screen to point out that your network administrator will provide a login for you, although in many organizations, single sign-on is a preferred option, and in that case, you may not have a separate login. Inbound and outbound faxes are separated into the inbox and the outbox. To begin, we'll select the New Fax button in order to create a new fax. The Fax Composer dialog opens up. I can select Add Contact to open up the phone book, select a phone book contact for a fax destination. You do not have to use the phone book. I can also just manually enter any fax number I would like to send a fax to right into the fax number field and add it. From there, I can enter a value into the header field, which will appear at the top of the fax. Any subject I may use, we'll show you how to use those index fields later, and a reference number. The reference number is special because this reference number will be included in the status receipt sent to the email address in the receipt field, which is automatically selected from my user account. In order to use the cover page system, simply click on the drop-down menu, select your cover page, and in order to put a message on the cover page, select Cover Options, and then type whatever message you would like to place on the cover page. In order to attach your document, you can simply drag and drop your document onto the Drop Documents Here bar. You do not have to drag and drop your documents. You can also just press the Browse for Document button and use Windows Explorer to find your document and attach it to our fax. Once you're finished, press the green Send Fax button. You'll receive a pop-up window to let you know that the network has a hold of your fax, and we can now see in our status column that we have 2 outbound faxes in a status of sending. Whenever you need to check the status of an outbound fax, you can come into the CloudFax portal, go to the Out box, and if you have a green checkmark box, this means that your fax has been successfully sent to the recipient. Other columns in the Out box include the date and time that the fax was sent, the number that you faxed to, which number you faxed from, how many pages were in the fax, the subject that you entered into the new fax screen, the reference number that you included, as well as the owner column, which indicates which user sent the fax. Next, let's move over to the inbox. You can see that messages in the inbox are in bold if they have not yet been read, and they are not in bold if they have been read. Just like most web-based messaging applications, you can take a read message and change it back to unread to indicate that it has not yet been handled or processed if you're collaborating with other users in the system. To open up a fax, you simply double-click on it or hit the View Fax button. From the fax viewer, you will be able to download the fax as either a PDF or a TIFF file. You will be able to email the fax from the web interface to any email address you choose. You can also forward the fax to a new fax number by pressing the fax button here. Simply put in the fax number. You can use these same index fields again. The header appears at the top of the fax. The subject will be a column in the web interface, and the reference number, of course, is sent back to the receipt to address should you need to match the fax to some other kind of transaction. After you're finished, you can close the forwarding fax. You can, of course, also delete the fax from here, zoom to have a closer look, rotate, print out a copy if need be. And finally, we have these subject and reference index fields for inbound faxes that you can edit to put whatever value might help add context for retrieving or finding faxes later. You'll see I'll just put in value number 1 here and put in a reference number, hit the Save button. And then when I close the Viewer tab and return to the inbox, you'll be able to see value number 1 and the reference number that I placed. Next, we'll move over to the foldering system. To add a new folder, just hit the plus button, enter in the name of the folder that you'd like to create. We'll call this one New Folder, then press the Add button. Once the folder's been created, you can move faxes into the new folder by simply dragging and dropping faxes in between the folders. I'll go over to the new folder and you'll be able to see that the fax that we just dragged and dropped now appears in the new folder. In order to move faxes in between folders, you can use the Move button. This one will move back to the inbox. And in order for you to be able to delete a folder, it does need to be empty. You can see now that the new folder is empty, and now I can right-click and delete that folder should I need to clean up how many folders that I have. Another feature available in the web portal is the ability to run reports. Just press the Reports button, select a start date and an end date. You can choose either a detail or exception report and then select the fax line that you would like to run the report on. Once you've made your selections, press the download button and a CSV file will be downloaded via your web browser. Should you need to find a fax in the system, you can use the search field. As you can see here, we'll type in the word test and hit enter and instantly find all of the faxes that contained the word test anywhere in the subject or the reference columns. This is a good opportunity to illustrate that whenever you open a new fax or do a search, you're actually opening up a new tab, and you can always return to the inbox by simply going to the inbox tab and then doing a new search or opening a new fax. We also like to take a moment to draw attention to the drop-down menu of fax numbers. Now, most users won't have this many fax numbers in their web portal. I have more because I'm an administrator on this system. But if you would ever need to go find another fax number, switch to a different inbox or outbox to find another fax, you simply go up to the drop-down menu, select that other fax number, and then you can look in the inbox and the outbox for all the faxes that have been received and sent from that fax number. That concludes our training video today. I would like to thank you for joining us, and remember, just the fax, ma'am, just the fax.